Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of these products that YouTube made me buy. So I've seen tons of videos like this, and I think it's just a really cool idea to kind of see what products were raved about, if they were worth the hype, or if they were just kind of this product that was really popular for a short period of time and then died down. So I have a boatload of products here ranging from face products, eyeshadows, lip products, everything in between. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start with the face products. The first one that I want to talk about is a primer. This is actually the Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm Primer. This is used for aftershave typically, but this works as an amazing face primer. I first heard about this from Nikki Tutorials here on YouTube, and then a ton of other beauty gurus were talking about it, raving about it, so I had to pick it up. It's around $5 or $6. You get 3.3 fluid ounces, so 3 times what you normally get in a primer, and I just really love this. I mentioned it in my drugstore favorites video, and I still love it to this day. I have had this for probably a couple of years now, and it still has a ton of product left in it. This was one of the products that was definitely worth the hype. Next, I have a couple foundations. So I'm just going to breeze through these rather quickly because a lot of them I have mentioned before. First and foremost, the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I also mentioned this in my drugstore favorites video as well. This is just a gorgeous, all matte, very long wearing foundation. It says that it is up to 24-hour wear, which I completely agree with. I have used this foundation all day long and it does not break up. It stays matte, it stays very full coverage, so I definitely love this foundation, and I think that it was 100% worth the hype. Next is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I have 2 shades here, and these are just great foundations. I heard about them a lot from Casey Holmes. She used to rave about these, so I picked them up and I love these. They are super full coverage. Once again, they stay very long on your skin. They stay pretty matte with me. I do tend to get a little bit oily throughout the end of the day, but I think they are amazing. They do have a little bit of flashback, but I've heard that the new formula does not have SPF in it. So if you are worried about that, maybe get a sample or try it out and see if it has flashback or not. But it is a great foundation. The only thing that could make this better is if it came with a pump, but since it is such a good foundation, I don't really mind. Next is the Milani Conceal Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation. Now I haven't tried this a lot because the shade that I did get is my deep summer shade. The times that I did try it, it was very full coverage. It is a little bit heavy, but that's not something that I really mind as long as it performs well. I did not wear it very long, so I don't know about the longevity of it, but from what I've heard here on YouTube, this is still raved about. A lot of people really like this foundation, so if you are interested, I would definitely give it a go. Lastly is one of my favorite foundations, hands down, and this is the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation. Now I'm not going to talk about this too much because I do mention this in the majority of my videos because this is my go-to foundation. It's very long wearing, super good coverage, and it really maintains my oils well. This was tested in 7 different lighting conditions, so it does not have flashback. It's going to look good in studio lights like I have here or daylight. I definitely recommend this one if you've been eyeing it up. It's around $6, so you really can't go wrong, and I think this was another product that was worth the hype. Moving right along to more face products, I'm first going to talk about this powder. This is the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. I've heard about this from many different YouTubers here, and I tried it out for myself, and this is a great powder. It is very cheap, and you get 2.3 ounces, which is a crazy amount of powder. This lasts so long. I've had this for a couple of years, and I'm not even close to running out. This is just a great translucent powder. I really like it for baking or for cleaning up a contour, and it does not leave a white cast. There are a few different shades. I have translucent extra coverage, and I really like this. I think that it was another product that was definitely worth the hype. Next, I have this Sonia Kashuk Rich Bronze Undetectable Cream Bronzer. I got this a while ago, and I heard, I believe Kathleen Lights talk about this, or maybe it was Jaclyn Hill, I don't exactly remember. But they said that this was a dupe for the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel, I believe it's called. It is just a great cream bronzer, and I really like this. I have the deeper of the 2 shades, which is Rich Bronze. They do have a lighter shade, and this works so well as a cream bronzer. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's my favorite anymore, just because I really like the Wet n Wild contouring sticks, and there are a couple other products that I've been wanting to test out So it's not my number one, but it is still a great product. Next I have highlighters. I have two different types of highlighters I want to show you. The first is the Wet n Wild MegaGlow Highlighting Powder. And I have a couple shades of these. These were raved about on YouTube not that long ago actually. A lot of people were talking about them, comparing them to Becca's highlighters, and I love these. I've used them in tons of videos and I think that the quality is great. They're so smooth, so pigmented, very reflective, and I think that this was one of the products that I really am glad that YouTube made me buy because these are awesome. Next I have Becca highlighters. Becca Opal was raved about for quite some time, so I have the travel size here, and I've had this once again for quite a while and I have not even been close to hitting pan, and I do use this quite a bit, so they last forever. The formula of this is so smooth and such great pigmentation and reflection that I think these are definitely worth the money and something that you should add to your collection. My last face product is a setting spray, and this is the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. Now, I'm sure you've heard about this on YouTube. A lot of people love this. I've heard Kathleen rave about this. Nicole Renee Cutler loves this, and there are just a few other YouTubers that I've heard rave about this. Pretty much all the reviews I've heard are great. This is one of the first setting sprays I have purchased. I've purchased a couple other drugstore ones, and this I think is great. I use this on all of my clients when I'm doing weddings or any special event makeup because I think it just sets the makeup so nicely. It really makes all the powders melt into your skin, and it does prolong the wear of your makeup. So I would definitely recommend this if you are looking for a setting spray that's going to really do something. And this is one of the products that YouTube definitely made me buy, and I'm so glad that I did. Next, I'm going to move on to eye products. So the first thing I have is MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. Now, this used to be raved about so long ago. People loved this because it is super full coverage and it's a great base, so it covers up any veins or discoloration you may have on your eyelids, and it creates a very smooth, clean canvas to work on. The one downside to this is that it dries out extremely quickly. I want to say that I had this for maybe a month to 2 months and it was already starting to dry out. I do still use it. I just spray a little bit of the setting spray in there to kind of rejuvenate it and make it a little bit more creamy. It is not my absolute favorite because I do think that it can be a little bit patchy, but when you first get this and when it's still very creamy, it is a great primer. I just wish that it would last a little bit longer. Next, I have a couple of eyeshadow palettes. So I have two drugstore and one high-end. So I'll start off with the high-end. This is the Lorac Pro Palette, and this was raved about on YouTube for quite a period of time. This is a great palette. It has a row of all matte shades on the top and then a row of shimmer shades as well. This was my first high-end eyeshadow palette purchase. I just love this palette. I think that it is a great everyday palette, but it still has some of these deeper shades in here to make it a little bit more colorful or smoky. So I really love this. I have had this for a couple years, and I put some pretty big dents in most of the shadows, and the quality of these are so amazing. They are so buttery and creamy, very easy to blend, very pigmented. So this is definitely one of my favorite palettes, and I'm so glad that YouTube made me buy this. Next, I have two drugstore palettes. The first is the e.l.f. Prism eyeshadow palette in the shade Naked. This comes with 6 shimmer eyeshadows, so it is an all shimmer palette, and although I do have to mix in another palette with this for the crease and transition area and things like that, I do really like this. These are so pigmented. It's like they are foiled. They are amazing quality, and you get 6 shadows for $10, so I think that it is a great bargain. I first heard about this from Kathleen Lights. She used to rave about this palette. I believe she has some tutorials with it as well. It is a great drugstore palette, and this is definitely worth the money. Next is the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. This is an 8-pan eyeshadow palette, and it comes with just a variety of gorgeous shades. I really love these bottom 2 shades, the blue brown shade and this dark burgundy. I think that those are great. This is an all shimmer palette, so I would recommend going in with some matte shadows in addition to this, but I think that the quality is great and the pigmentation is also great. These are very creamy and fully pigmented, and I think that they blend out nicely, and you can create a variety of looks with this palette. So this was raved about, but I think that it definitely deserved the hype. It is still a great palette from the drugstore. For 8 pans, I believe it was around $6, which you can't beat that, so I would highly recommend picking this up if you haven't already. Next, I want to talk about the Stila Magnificent Metals. These were more recently raved about. I have this shade Smoldering Satin, which is just this gorgeous taupe type of shade. It's actually what I'm wearing on my eyelids right now. I think that these are great. I use a glitter glue base to apply these because they can have some glitter fallout, so I would definitely recommend you doing your eyes first before foundation. But these give full glitter pigmentation with one swipe. They are super easy to use. You can use the little applicator, it's just like a doe foot applicator, or you can use a brush. I think that these are great for special occasions or just an everyday eye look. Honestly, I'm going out to lunch after this and I'm definitely going to keep this makeup on. I think that these can add a great little pop of something different to an everyday look, or for a night out, or maybe homecoming or prom if you are in high school. I think that these are great. They are $24, which is a steep price, but I think that they are awesome and you get quite a bit in here. I don't think I'll ever run out of this, so I would definitely recommend picking them up. They have a variety of shades. They have more gold shades or more silver. They even have like a blush toned one. I think they have a red. So these are amazing and they were hyped up quite a bit, and I think that it is for a great reason. I will definitely be purchasing more of these. Another product YouTube definitely made me buy is the L'Oreal Infallible Amber Rush Eyeshadow Pigment. This is a pressed pigment, so it works more like a cream shadow than a loose pigment, and this is just a gorgeous rose gold shade. I think that this is beautiful. I believe it was Kathleen Lights and Jaclyn Hill that first talked about this, and I love this. This is actually my second container. I already went through one. I think that it is a great shadow for just an everyday look. It really gives you a nice glowy lid, gives you some pop of shine, but it's not glittery and it's not too dark or too light. It is just the perfect everyday shade. I believe that you can create a variety of looks with this. You could create something really smoky and put this on the inner corner, or you could create a more daytime look and just pack this all over the lid with maybe a crease color to kind of blend it out. It is so buttery, smooth, and very easy to work with, so I would definitely recommend this. Next, I have the Maybelline Color Tattoos. I have quite a few here. These were raved about quite a while ago. They are great eyeshadow bases or cream shadows. They have a variety of colors. My favorite is the shade Pomegranate Punk. This is just a gorgeous purple sort of plum, but with a little bit of pink in there. I do believe that this one is discontinued, but if you can find it, definitely pick it up. I think that it is a great base because if you're doing a purple look, sometimes the purple can sort of turn darker or turn more black. So if you put this underneath, it really helps to amplify that purple look and make it a little bit more true to color. They have some deeper brown shades. They have this one, which is barely branded, just a sort of shimmery cream ivory shade. So they have quite a few different ones to choose from, and I think that they are a great cream shadow or base if you are looking for something to use. Next is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow Pomade. This has been raved about and still is. This is an eyeshadow pomade. I have mine in the shade Taupe because I did have a bit lighter hair when I first got this. It does work in my brows still, but I just prefer something a little bit darker. It just comes in a little jar, and surprisingly, I've had this for quite some time and it has not dried out. I've probably had this easily over a year, and it still is very creamy and works just the same. I think this is super easy to use. I love pomades because I used to use the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I love that. It was super easy to use and very quick, but it wiped off or it would kind of just fade away very easily. So I tried this out and I have been hooked ever since. It is so long wearing, and this was definitely something that YouTube made me buy, but I'm very happy that I did because I still use it to this day. My last eye product is the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara. This was raved about for quite some time, and I did buy this when it was first raved about, and I love this. It is very volumizing and super black. It gives your lashes so much volume and thickness, which I really love. Another mascara that was raved about was the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black. This was also raved about for quite some time, but this one I really do not like, whereas the Voluminous Carbon Black I love. But this one, for some reason with L'Oreal mascaras, I have a problem where I put it on my eyes and then my eyelashes stick in a certain direction, and that personally is just a big pet peeve of mine. I'm very particular, and if my lashes feel out of place or clumped together or stuck in a wrong direction, that just really bothers my eyes. So I like something that I put it on and it coats my lashes, but my lashes can fall back into their natural place. I don't know, that might sound crazy, but that's just something that really bothers me if they feel out of place. So this one, when you put it on your eyes, it almost sticks your eyelashes exactly where you put them, which for some people might be a good thing. Maybe you're looking for that, but for me, I just wanted them to be coated. This is, however, very black, so sometimes what I will do is put on my Voluminous Carbon Black and then just go over top with the Telescopic to make it a little bit darker, or if I have a mascara that I really like but it's not dark enough, I will go over it with just to sort of deepen it a little bit. This was a product that was raved about on YouTube and I did not have good luck with, but like I mentioned, the Voluminous Carbon Black I absolutely love. Now I'm going to move on to lip products. This is the first lipstick that I ever bought that was high-end, and this is MAC Creme de Nude. This used to be raved about. This was a holy grail product for many YouTubers. I remember ShanXO talking about this all the time. It is a very light nude, and on my skin tone personally, this looks very washed out, and I really don't know why I used it so much when I first bought it, because I wore this like every day, and on my skin tone it just doesn't look that great, and I think that was just the style back then. There are a lot of YouTubers that used to love this, and it was a very light, almost concealer type nude. But this was one of my favorite most worn lipsticks, along with Cremecup. Cremecup was another one that was raved about, just this great everyday pink shade. I do still wear this quite a bit. I love this shade, and I think it's very flattering and just a great everyday sort of color. So these MAC lipsticks, especially Creme de Nude and Cremecup, were raved about, and I think that they are good. Creme de Nude, I would definitely say I don't really use that much anymore, so it's not really a fail, but I just don't use it anymore. But Cremecup I do still use. It was raved about, and I think that it is for a good reason. This is still a product that I get a lot of use out of, so if you are looking to pick up one of them, I would definitely recommend Cremecup. Next, I want to talk about a liquid lipstick. So when liquid lipsticks first came out, everyone was raving about the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks. I remember Jaclyn Hill did a video when they first launched swatching all of the colors, and that is what really made me buy them. So I have 7. Like I said in my Lippy mini series where I mentioned a couple of these for the fall vampy lip colors, this is the lipstick formula that I own the most of. So I do have quite a few shades, and as you can see, I do have a certain color scheme here. I really love the nudes and the berries and kind of pink tones in this line. One that I want to mention specifically is Pure Hollywood. This was one of the ones that was raved about so much. It is just a great sort of pinky nude shade. I did used to wear this one a lot, but I think for my skin tone, I much prefer the shade Naked, just because it is a little bit peachier and a little bit more brown, whereas Pure Hollywood is a bit more pink. But I still get a lot of use out of these. I wear them all the time. I think the formula is great. It is a bit thicker and more moussey, but I think that it still wears very nicely. These were raved about, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about them still anymore, but I think that they are still a great product. Okay, lastly in this video, I want to mention a lip gloss. These are the Buxom Full-On Lip Creams. I have 2 here to show you. I have White Russian and then Bellini. Bellini is a new purchase of mine. I really didn't hear this shade specifically raved about, but I just really love this peachy color. But the one that I heard raved about for so long is in the shade White Russian. Kathleen Lights talked about this, Jaclyn Hill talked about this, and I'm sure many others did as well. This is just a great milky pink sort of lip gloss. It is a great everyday shade. I actually have a mini size in my purse that I keep with me all the time. This is my favorite gloss. I think that it is very creamy and very just rich and luxurious feeling. It does not feel sticky. It is supposed to be plumping, so it does have sort of a cooling sensation, which I really like. I don't notice that it plumps my lips a ton, but I still think that the gloss itself is amazing, and I would highly, highly recommend these Buxom Full-On Lip Creams. They were so raved about, especially White Russian, and I would definitely recommend that you try it if you haven't yet. Okay guys, so that wraps up this video of YouTube Made Me Buy It products. I would have to say that the majority of products that I have bought because of YouTube have not let me down. Leave some of the products that YouTube made you buy in the comments down below. I would love to hear about them. I'm sure there are plenty that I'm forgetting about, but these were just the products that came to mind when I first thought of this idea. If you like this video or would like to see more of these types of videos, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.